What's up, everyone? Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. I almost restarted that intro twice. Can you imagine if I would have done that? One click of a button and things just go everywhere. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. I'm Denise Salcedo, and once again, I am pulling double duty here tonight. I'm not only talking about WWE SmackDown, but we are also going to talk about a very explosive and newsworthy edition of AEW Dynamite. So for those of you who are up late watching live with me, whether you're watching on Twitch, whether you're a Twitch homie, whether you're a YouTube dude or dudette, whatever it is, thank you so much for staying up late to chat with me. Again, we have lots to talk about. So I kind of asked people on the chat before I went on the air if they wanted me to kick things off first with SmackDown or AEW. And it seems like a lot of people are like, get SmackDown out of the way and talk about SmackDown first and then AEW. So what I'm going to do is we have several super chats. I'm going to start reading some of the super chats. Then we're going to jump in and recap just the main points, just the overall highlights of SmackDown. And then we're going to jump in and talk about AEW Dynamite and kind of like the big stuff from that show. So I will be piling in 4 hours of wrestling into a 1 hour-ish type of show. So let's get to it, everyone. BTW, for those of you who do not know, if you send in a super chat here, I will be definitely reading your comments. If you are on Twitch, I will also be reading your comments. So I'm going to try to find a nice balance for everybody. However, super chats will go ahead and get, I guess you can say, first basis of all. All right, so we're gonna actually kick things off with our first super chat of the day. This one's from Matthew Makovsky, who says, a special shout out to my wife for being so hot. Well, he wasn't wrong. Also, I might be going to Chicago, Denise. We might get to meet each other. So Matthew Makovsky, by the way, is referencing a funny quote that Miedo did during his promo today, where he talked about his hot wife, Lana, who you all know is part of the releases this week, really. And then also, I have already booked my flight and hotel, so I will be going to AEW All Out. I cannot wait. It's going to be a very exciting week of events. So thank you so much to Matthew Makovsky for kicking us off there with the first super chat. We have another one from Cameron Mumford, who sends in a big one. Thank you so much to Cameron. Cameron says, tonight's SmackDown was a meh show. If it wasn't for Roman and the Usos, the show would be raw. Expected a lot better to end my birthday, but hey, at least AEW Dynamite picked up the slack and delivered a solid show. Well, first of all, happy birthday to Cameron Mumford. You're sending me the gifts when I should be sending you the gift. But I have to agree with you on all of this. It really did feel like SmackDown today. Last week when we covered both, SmackDown and AEW Dynamite, for the most part, I kind of felt that the show really flew by, like all 4 hours really flew by. I did struggle a bit today with SmackDown. There were some moments where I just thought, oh, this is not going very well. And unfortunately, there wasn't anything. I mean, the meat of the show really is Roman and the Usos, and we will get into that, but I do have to agree with everything that Cameron Mumford mentioned in this super chat. We have another one from Wrestling Gamer, who says, I really hope my fellow New Jerseyans, Liv Morgan and Sonya Deville, don't get the boot. They are some of the few reasons I still watch SmackDown. So Liv Morgan, as of right now, obviously we just saw her on SmackDown. We are going to talk about her match here today, but sadly she's lost her friends. First, we had to say goodbye to Sarah Logan. Now she's saying goodbye to Ruby Riott, which really kind of sucks, as you guys all know, because for those of you who have been watching my SmackDown recaps for the last couple of weeks, you all know that one of the main things that I've been talking about is the fact that the SmackDown women's division really needs more women. And so the fact that we're losing some instead of gaining some is really not looking that great. And after what we saw today with Liv Morgan, my hopes aren't as high as they were maybe prior to the start of SmackDown here tonight. And I think we have a couple more super chats. We actually have another one from Anima Master, Anima Master says, Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. Says, happy National Hug Your Cat Day. Now, Denise, leave the stream at this moment and go hug your cat. So I'm sorry for all the cat lovers out there. Happy National Hug Your Cat Day. But I am what you call terrified of cats. I will not go near a cat. They scare the living bejesus out of me. And if you have a cat, chances are I will never go over to your house because I will be terrified. Making eye connection with a cat is terrifying, and they don't shy away from you. They walk towards you and they creep me the hell out. But if you're a cat person and a cat lover, congratulations, I'm terrified of cats. And okay, here we go. We got some more super chats. Again, I'm going to read the super chats and then we're going to go into the actual shows. We have one from Khaled Adams says, hi, Denise, thoughts on the Ruby Riott release? So I'll kind of give a couple of my thoughts here in regards to the releases. So first and foremost with Braun Strowman, he was the one that surprised me the most because, I mean, look at him. He seems like somebody that WWE would definitely want him. But obviously, reports were saying that he was making well over $1 million. So after hearing that, you're probably thinking, okay, now I know exactly why they let go of Braun Strowman. But it was very, very surprising. He was the most surprising one to me. The second person that I was most surprised about was Lana, because I always felt that no matter what, they always found something to do with Lana. And I feel bad for her because she wasn't the greatest in-ring performer. I think we all know that and we can all agree on that. But I think the other thing that we can agree on is that she worked very, very hard, and she also managed to build a brand for herself outside of WWE, and at least utilize, what she's doing with WWE to grow something, whether it be with TikTok or Instagram. So I do think that if she were to go to AEW or whatever she decides to do, I do think that no matter what, she's going to benefit from social media and, making extra money and all of that. With Ruby Riott, I feel bad because, again, the Riott Squad, a lot of people were hoping for more with the Riott Squad, really hoping they actually did something with them. We talk about the fact that there's hardly no tag teams in the tag team division, and we have two women's tag team title bouts, and we have very few teams. I definitely think that they could have done something with Ruby Riott. And part of me thought that maybe with her being gone, the only thing I could think of was like, well, let me try to see the bright side in all of this. Well, maybe the bright side could be that they're actually going to do something with Liv Morgan. But based on the events from tonight, I'm starting to think that I am wrong in thinking that. And then Murphy, great talent. I think he's going to make a whole lot of money outside of WWE. And I think he's going to really, especially when the world really opens up again and he starts taking bookings everywhere, I really do think he's going to be somebody that's going to be very well off. Santana Garrett, I'm not surprised she was released. They didn't really do much with her. And Aleister Black, obviously Aleister Black, he was probably the third person that I was most surprised about, mainly because we were just talking about him on SmackDown. We have another super chat from Tyler Joseph Smith who says, bueno para Andrade, pero AEW tiene demasiada gente. You know what? They may have. So Tyler's basically saying that this is good for Andrade, but that they do have a lot of people. But here's the thing. They do not have anybody like Andrade. Now, we will be talking about Andrade more in depth, but I'm going to just start off by saying that I really, really do hope that AEW becomes somebody that breaks the pattern of what we've been seeing in terms of the fact that Latinos haven't necessarily been able to get to a certain point because they don't have the right support behind them. So I really do hope that AEW puts, whatever effort they can into really making something of Andrade, because I really do think if everything lines up, if they get like all their ducks in a row with Andrade, I really do think that he could be a major, major star, especially the Latino star that we have not had in a very, very long time. So I am excited for Andrade as well. We have another super chat from Jake Neal who says, hey Denise, love your reporting, loved Andrade being in AEW, but a pretty mess show overall. Was super disappointed in the main. When it came to the AEW main event, I was not necessarily wild about it, and I will recap that in just a second, but I thought that the AEW show overall was good. So I didn't think the show was meh. I did think the show was good. So let's go ahead and jump into all of this here, guys. So I hope I got everybody's super chats. We are going to go ahead and kick things off with SmackDown. So for those of you who didn't watch SmackDown or did watch SmackDown, we are going to go ahead and kick things off. And we're just going to run through the highlights so we can jump into AEW as well. So the number one thing that we really need to talk about, because really the heart and soul, the meat, whatever the bacon of it all really is the storyline with Roman Reigns, Jimmy and Jey Uso. If you're going to tune into SmackDown at this point, it's really to tune in and find out what they're actually going to be doing with these guys, because that is the best storyline that they have right now in WWE, and it's also the best storyline, obviously, over on the Blue brand, and it's really just carrying the entire show. Without Roman Reigns and the Uso storyline, I don't even know what there would be really on the show, honestly. So here we go, guys. So we have our opening segment. Roman Reigns comes out and basically says he wants the Usos to come out. He says, "Wise man, bring me my cousins." So the Usos come out once again. Roman Reigns tells Jimmy to acknowledge him. Jimmy sort of reminds him of the events that unfolded at Hell in a Cell. And then we jump into the actual match, the Usos versus Rey and Dominic. And unfortunately, and this is obviously for the tag titles, as you all know, but unfortunately, this kind of ended up souring me just a little bit, because the match kicked off. We saw, I hate to say it, but there was a lot in this match that made me kind of not be interested. And the reason for that is, as much as I like the team of Dominic and Rey Mysterio, I think it's cool that, they're a father-son team, that they're tag team champions. I love all of that. However, because Dominic is still so green, and because in my opinion, he's still kind of, when he's wrestling, it doesn't feel natural just yet. I can see the wheel spinning inside his head as he does things in the ring. So the flow for his matches isn't necessarily there. And for me, that's been hurting a lot of the matches that he's been in. And he goes out there and he really does try, and he does a lot of cool stuff, which I really enjoy and respect and admire that he goes after and does, but it's just not clicking for me. And so this match, let's talk about the finish, because I was going to recap the entire match, but as you all know, we end up seeing this match again. So the ending of this match, we see a terrible, and I mean terrible roll-up from Dominic onto Jey. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is so bad. And at that point in time, I did not know if that was an intended, hey, this looks terrible, this is intended to look this terrible, or not. Now, obviously, this played into the story later on, where they talk about the fact that, it's the referee's fault for not seeing his arm go up, this and that. And even when I was watching this happen, I didn't even realize that was the mistake that had been made, because I was so focused on such the terrible roll-up that we had from Dominic that it completely unraveled everything that I had seen ahead of this. And I just hate to say it, but I kind of really feel like these matches with Dominic and Rey Mysterio with teams like the Usos kind of feels like they're dumbing it down for us. It really feels like the quality of the matches are being dumbed down for us just a little bit, just because Dominic necessarily isn't at that level yet to be having these matches. Or better yet, I still don't feel that they're really believable as tag team champions. And I feel so bad to say it, but this was terrible. And I feel bad because every time they win, it is not believable and it doesn't come across as believable. So I thought the finish to this match was terrible. However, with that being said, I'm going to give kudos to WWE on this one, because they found a new way, ladies and gentlemen. They found a new way to essentially give us the match twice with two funky finishes, essentially. They found, if you could say, a new creative way to go ahead and do that. But let's kind of go ahead and see what you guys think, guys. Go ahead and send in your thoughts. I'm going to read a couple of comments here, and then we're going to go ahead and continue. This one is from Chrisma32, who says, it was terrible. V-Sips-Z says, bruh, it was so bad. Doesn't even know how that roll-up worked there. And if you kind of notice, because I zoomed in a little, well, not zoomed in, but if you look closely, you kind of notice that Jay, when he got that roll up, he was holding on to the side of like his clothing, of Dominic's clothing, just so that they wouldn't lose the actual, like he wouldn't lose his balance and essentially fall out. So it just did not look good. This is a comment from Kisham who says, I really like the way Dominic wrestles because it's different. He's obviously, the fact that they're not doing, these live event house shows, that's obviously what's hurting him, because if not, he would be, having these matches over and over and over and really working with these guys that can help him become a better worker and all of that. So that is hurting him, because we're seeing it all happen on SmackDown, on live television. And so we are seeing his flaws. He does cool stuff, but the problem is a lot of it looks like it's in slow motion, or he's still thinking about what he actually has to do in the ring. And so that is, for me, what takes me out of these Rey Dominic tag team matches. And again, like I said, just the fact that it's not believable. This is a comment from David Root who says, Dominic has so much potential, but zero grasp on the fundamentals. Definitely needs to get a little bit, better. And, let's see what else we have here, guys. Make sure to send in your comments as we go through. Once again, okay, here we go. Let's read this comment from Lenny Banner, who says, the Mysterios are a vessel to the Usos getting the tag straps, but it's tough because they're not overly credible as a team to me. 100% agree. He goes on to say, it's an okay story, but this speaks on how thin they are on the tag side. This probably plays better if they didn't rip the straps off the Street Profits so soon. I think that obviously the reason why they wanted to do Dominic, Rey Mysterio as tag team champions was really just to create that moment of like, oh my God, the first father-son tag team. But again, it doesn't ring as credible. So when you see the Usos, who are literally an established tag team, like one of the best of all times, like you can really pit them up against whoever your favorite tag teams are, some of the best tag teams in the world, you can definitely put the Usos up there. And so for me to see them lose to Rey Mysterio and Dominic, it doesn't come across as believable. So yeah, I do have to agree with this comment here. Okay, so here we go, guys. Afterwards, so, they complain, they go to Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville, and this ends up being a rematch. So I'm not happy that this is a rematch, because the main problem that we've been talking about with WWE is just the fact that we've been seeing so many matches over and over and over again. And for a while, it was kind of really only happening on Raw. And, for the most part, people were like, oh, well, Raw's such a totally different show from SmackDown. Oh, now I'm starting to feel like SmackDown is becoming baby sister to Raw and practically doing the exact same thing. And the only thing, like I said, that is really keeping us, still, I guess, invested in SmackDown really is everything that's going on with Roman and the Usos, as I said. But really, the fact that they even had to do this rematch already took me out of it without me even giving it a chance. And I understand that that's unfair, but as a viewer, when you are constantly seeing the same matches over and over again, you're sort of trained to not even care. Like your mind is like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. Does it matter? And that's the problem, is that they need to make things matter. And right now it still doesn't feel like they are. So we have the rematch here. And Rey is making okay, so Rey is literally on fire, okay? This match is not that great, to be honest, but really is picking up once Rey is on offense. And Rey Mysterio, obviously he's badass. He's going to be going, all over the place, running 100 miles per hour, doing his thing. But then we have Roman Reigns essentially interfere. Roman Reigns does not want to see the Usos win. Why? Because he wants to, at least from my understanding, wants to rip apart the Usos, he wants to rip apart the Usos just because Jimmy has not yet acknowledged him the way that Jay has. And Roman Reigns as a heel has layers to him. He's this angry, jealous, manipulative type of guy, like that's on his high horse. So we are seeing that the real reason that why he did this is really just to, even though he attacked Rey Mysterio and Dominic and beat the living hell out of them, it really was to get back at the Usos here. So he kind of really did ruin that match there for them. But in the end, we essentially see him getting Dominic guillotine. Jimmy keeps telling him like, hey man, he's done already. He's out. Let him go. Jimmy has a heart. He's feeling sorry for Dominic. Roman Reigns kind of doesn't give a damn. And then essentially finally stops and Jimmy gets out of the ring and Roman and Jey Uso essentially kind of have like this eye-to-eye moment. So here we go. Let's see. This is a comment from, let's see. I'm going to get some couple more comments here. This one is from, let's see. I'm going to try to get as many as I possibly can. This one's from Soul NB who says, this is the best Roman we've ever had. It definitely is. But the only thing that's hurting Roman as of this moment is the lack of challengers. There are not enough challengers to keep helping him rise as a champion. And that is obviously the main issue that we're having across the board with all the champions, whether it be Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, etc. We do need to have more credible champions up there. So here we go, guys. That was essentially what went down there. Again, I'm not going to go through everything on SmackDown, but I do want to go ahead and talk about, because, okay, let's talk about Carmella versus Liv Morgan. Now, this I do want to talk about. And the reason for this is obviously earlier on, somebody asked about the releases. The big news for this week really has been the WWE releases, because one of those names was Ruby Riott, former tag team partner with Liv Morgan of the Riott Squad. Now, I mentioned the fact that I think a lot of us, we are kind of looking at the bright side here. Well, it's sad to say because at the end of the day, somebody lost their job. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, you know what? Ruby Riott, she's going to go find her peace elsewhere. She might even shine brighter in another place, whether it be Impact, Ring of Honor, or whatever calls her name, right? But I'm thinking, okay, everybody, we've been talking about this nonstop. We've been talking about the fact that there is so much potential with Liv Morgan. Oh, she has such a good look. There's a lot that they can do with her, right? But they never actually really did. We all know the vignettes that they did, and then they did that weird storyline with her and Lana that lasted, I don't even know how long. It was very brief. And then they moved on to something else. They brought her back into the Riott Squad, and it was kind of like they wasted all of this time and just really never did anything with her. Now, during this match, I was very curious as to who was actually going to win this match. Probably 95% of me thought that Liv Morgan was going to win this match. I really did. I thought, okay, this is it. They're going to turn the tables with Liv Morgan. We're going to start seeing something. And I was completely wrong here. No. So Liv Morgan, I went back and I looked at some stats, some of, the match stuff and all of this, right? Liv Morgan has not won a singles match this entire year, guys. This entire year, they have not given her not even one little lousy singles win, not even with a roll-up, nothing, nada, right? And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe this is it. When she didn't get the win in this match, I thought, oh, this is not going to go well. And here's the thing, too, is that I'm thinking, all right, well, maybe they're going to do something with Carmella here. But it kind of really doesn't feel like they're doing anything with Carmella either. And here's the thing about Carmella. Carmella also has lost all of her singles matches except for 2 this year. The only 2 people that she has beat this year in singles matches, first and foremost, was Ruby Riott. And then tonight it was Liv Morgan. So I'm kind of really feeling like my hope for maybe them doing something with Liv Morgan has kind of gone down. And I know people on here are probably going to be like, you know what, Denise, it's barely been 1 week. Calm down. Maybe they have something else for her. And I really hope you guys are right, because I do think that they have a lot of potential in Liv Morgan. I think she's the type of, the type of girl that I think can really, win a lot of fans over, whether they're male or they're female. She seems like the relatable type. So I do think that they can do a lot with Liv Morgan. But right now, I kind of have no hope based on what we saw here tonight. And here's the thing, too, that I was going to mention also with one of the things that I was also going to mention with Liv Morgan is that during this match, you could tell that she was really trying to put her best foot forward so that the right people could be like, you know what, let's do something with her. Let's roll with her, right? And the only thing that I do feel bad is that she's going out there, she's trying all of this stuff, but you still kind of notice that she's maybe not as confident yet. But I do think if they kept putting her on TV constantly, actually putting her on TV, maybe giving her a couple of wins, she would obviously not only get better, but she would also gain that confidence with getting better. So it really does kind of suck here. So let's see what else we got here. And yeah, this person is right. It hasn't just been one way. I mean, it's been not even one, but I'm talking more about the Ruby Riott, since Ruby Riott was released, but it obviously has been months and months of them essentially not doing anything with her. So let's see what we got here. We have a comment from Brandon who says, while I wanted Liv to win, I'm mildly okay with Carmella winning because Bianca will need a heel challenger, and that challenger should have someone with wins under their belt. Yeah, I feel the exact same way, and that's one of the things that I casually mentioned too, is that maybe I'm thinking maybe they'll do something with Carmella. Carmella's matches with Sasha Banks weren't bad whatsoever. For the most part, they were perfectly fine. So I really do think that they could also do something with Carmella, obviously. Then they could do something with multiple people, though. This doesn't have to be like it just push one person and that's it. Push multiple people. Let's get the ball rolling here. We have a comment from Sticker Reds to 2202. Wow, guys, it's late. Says Liv's entire WWE Network documentary was WWE telling on themselves for having no ideas for her. Oh, yeah. That because I watched it a little late, maybe like a week or two after it aired, and everybody was like, oh, I can't believe that they put this out on the documentary. And I thought, well, how bad can it be? So I watched it and I'm thinking, oh, they really are admitting that there were no ideas for Liv Morgan. And that kind of did feel kind of surprising that they would openly admit that. But that is definitely true. It really does feel like, obviously it doesn't feel, we're seeing it, that they have nothing for Liv. We have a super chat. Thank you so much to CT, who says, the brand extension is hurting WWE so bad. Put them all back together and we get double the challengers and we fix the women's division. One set of champions. See, I feel like they have the ability, though, to keep the roster separate, but maybe bring up some talent from NXT, maybe actually give some of the people that are maybe down in catering a chance, not just seeing the same matches over and over, because the random moments that we do get fresh matchups, whether it be on Raw or SmackDown, they really are good. It's just more of I think it's more of them also needing to just like not actually put effort in their stories. With Apollo Crews, how many of us really expected for them to even do something with Apollo Crews? Apollo Crews was somebody that was just floundering there for quite some time. And now look, they actually gave him a storyline. They actually gave him a character. And for the most part, I don't mind seeing Apollo Crews on my TV. I enjoy a lot of the stuff that he's been doing. So when they actually do take the effort to maybe add a little something to somebody, it comes across a lot better. The problem is they tend to revert back to the exact same thing. So I do think that they could keep the roster separately, but just be a little bit more creative, or at least try to be creative. So thank you so much to CT for sending in this super chat. And we do have I want to quick plug, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe to F4W Video with your Prime account. Get all the perks you deserve. Alrighty, everyone. Let's see. We have some comments here. This one is from Chris Cage 2X, who says, in regards to the brand extension that we were talking about, says, the brand extension isn't the problem. It's a creative problem because they don't give out opportunities or TV time to wrestlers we haven't seen in a while and deserve their time. It's kind of basically what I just said right now. So that is exactly how I feel. All right, guys, let's fast forward here really quickly. Let's talk about this Bianca Belair Bayley segment. So I feel bad, guys, but I really do, I feel bad because as much as I like Bianca Belair, and I was so happy when she won the Royal Rumble, and I was so happy when she became champion, I am not feeling her reign as champion, and it's not really her fault, but I do think she's one of those people that is kind of hurting from not actually having a live crowd to like feed off of, I really do think that she is going to be one of the people that is really going to benefit from actually having a live crowd, because her promo today was so awkward. It was so awkward at one point. So she's challenging Bayley, right, to Hell in a Cell. But at one point, I kind of think she forgot her lines. I felt so bad for her. I didn't know if she was maybe doing a dramatic pause, but it didn't come across like a dramatic pause. When you get a dramatic pause, you know when it is. And this one did not feel like that whatsoever. So this was not good, at least on her part. Bayley, she comes out on the screen. She's in a shrine of herself sitting on this couch, and she's got pictures of herself all over, and she's doing her annoying laugh. Oh, I love how annoying Bayley is in all of this, where I kind of hate this character. I love it because it's new and Bayley is awesome. I also kind of hate it because it's working and it's getting under my skin. But really, this did not really do anything major. It was probably one of the best moments of SmackDown, but that was kind of about it. We do have a question from Avery Semp who says, Denise, quick question. Can you regularly do these streams on Twitch as well? So yeah, I don't know if any announcements have been made necessarily. I'm not entirely sure what you guys have been told, but from my understanding, from my shows at least, since the one I did about Double or Nothing recently, that one, it was the first one that I did on both Twitch and YouTube. From my understanding, moving forward, I am now doing all my shows on both Twitch and YouTube. So I think this is now the third show that I've done on both of these platforms. So I think we're going to keep going this way until I basically get you're going back to YouTube or whatever the case may be. But as of right now, I am definitely going to be streaming on both Twitch and YouTube, and then obviously the audio file on the actual website. We have a comment from Colette Adam who says that segment made Bianca look even more foolish. It did not make her look good whatsoever, and I felt really, really bad. Yeah, Oni Zoof Kaf FTW says she's doing better than Rhea Ripley. I feel bad. Rhea Ripley as champion has not been landing well, but this is not a Rad podcast, so I won't dive into that, but I will have to agree with her, agree with that comment as well. And alrighty, guys, so we are going to go ahead and move on. Oh, thank you. CT says, yes, Brian has announced a new tier for videos that includes Twitch and YouTube. Okay, thank you so much. I really wasn't sure what had been said on here already. So if Brian Alvarez said it, then that is definitely what is happening. This is coming from Draper Dawn, who says, I've had a hard time getting fully on board with Bianca. Great athlete, nothing missing here. I just don't get much grit, backbone, or fire. Yeah, and that's the thing, is obviously she's a baby face and all, but I do think that they can definitely give her a little something more. And yeah, she's in this, storyline with Bayley, but it kind of took a while to pick up, and I don't even know if it's fully picked up yet. To be honest, I don't really know. I can't even say like, oh, this feud is so hot, because I don't feel that way. I mean, it's fine, but I'm not like clamoring for it every single week. So there you go. Let's see, guys. Let's go ahead and lastly, okay, we already talked about okay, really quickly, we had Kevin Owens versus Apollo. Aziz attacks Kevin Owens before, and it took me a while to get into this match, but even so, it finally picked up. We saw Kevin Owens essentially try everything possible to even get the win here as much as he could, because he was obviously in pain from the attack from earlier on with Aziz, really selling the ribs. The ending of this match was really, really fun, because we see Kevin Owens manages to hit a swanton bomb on Apollo, but he ends up getting his leg up, hits him with an enziguri and a suplex, but Kevin Owens still kicks out. So we had a bunch of near falls, but in the end, we see Apollo hit a Death Valley driver to Kevin Owens on the apron and ends up getting the 3 count. This was a nice little match, but afterwards we see Sami Zayn come out, run out and give Kevin Owens the haluva kick, and he basically does it in a poetic way where he wants him to essentially feel pain when he's down, just like he did to Sami Zayn, essentially kicking him when he was down. All right, I'm going to read the super chat, and then we are going to go ahead and move on to AEW Dynamite, because there is lots to talk about. So here we go. This one is from Brandon Charles Powell, who says, when Sami ran out after the Apollo Owens match and Apollo's music was playing, I was stoked that Sami would dance, but the music stopped and and he didn't dance. What a bummer. How do you guys feel about the fact that we're sort of going back once again to Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn? Now, some of you guys can go ahead and answer that. I'll get a couple of comments, but really quickly, I personally, see, I like them together. They always work well together, so I don't necessarily hate it. But again, been there, done that. Been there, done that. I do want to get on to something different. Now, I know it's going to be good, but I want to move on to something different. Thank you so much to Brandon for sending in this super chat here today. We have a comment from official Phil Brooks who says that he hates it. Colette Adams says, no, please. So I think for the most part here, people are not necessarily feeling it. And also points out that Big E was not on tonight. Well, yeah, he was in a program with Aleister Black, and Aleister Black is now gone. Guys, last week, we were singing a totally different tune. We were singing a totally different song. We were on an entirely different page. We were talking about Aleister Black's cool little entrance with all the fog and the smoke and all of that. He comes out and hits the black mass on Big E, and we're all thinking, oh my God, they're going to do something here. All right, cool. No more sitting and reading these chapters of the Dark Father's tales. I don't even know what it's called anymore. And then he's just gone. And it is insane because, again, that was literally how SmackDown ended. So it really is. Wrestle War says plans change. Indeed, they do. All right, guys, let's do this. We are going to move on to AEW Dynamite. Now, before I do move on, friendly reminder, if you have not followed me on Twitter and or on Instagram, please make sure to follow me. If you're like new to my streams, I hope you are enjoying them. Let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. I just got verified. I'm very, very excited about it. And I live tweet during every single show. So if you guys want to get like instantaneous thoughts and opinions, I try to be funny sometimes, so you'll see that on there. I really hope you guys enjoy it, and do go ahead and give me a follow on there. Also, if you enjoy my streams, no matter what format you watch them, please make sure to help me spread the word. Spread the word about my show if you like it. If you don't like it, don't tell anybody you don't like it. All right, here we go, guys. Let's do this. Chris Cage says, light the fuse, bring the boom, Dynamite. And yes, let's kick things off. We're going to run through things chronologically, the major moments of the show, of course. I probably won't get through everything, but here we go. We open things up with Pac and Phoenix versus the Young Bucks. And automatically, I knew that this match was going to be awesome right off the bat, okay? Right off the bat, just looking at the players in this match, you're thinking, all right, this is going to be good. But literally, Pac and Phoenix, like straight up from the moment this match kicks off, it's nonstop fast-paced action. We see a standing moonsault from Pac. We see a twirl to whirl from Penta. We see Penta hit the Canadian Destroyer. Pac hits the Black Arrow, but ends up getting a 2 count, and the Bucks eventually end up winning. Post-match, they try to take off Penta's mask, but Kingston comes to their aid. Overall, it was really a fun match. And this is a comment from Wrestle War who says, best match of the night. IBN 1989 says that this was kind of a meh episode with the exception of Andrade. Wow, you know what? I've been seeing a couple of people say that they didn't think this Dynamite was all that great. I thought it was a really good show. I mean, I didn't love everything on the show, but for the most part, I thought it was a pretty good show. We have a super chat from Colette Adam who says, did you get a chance to interview Sting at the pay-per-view? No, so Sting did not do the media scrum. It was just Jungle Boy, Britt Baker, Tony Khan, and Chris Jericho. So it was only those 4 that ended up talking to the media. And I would have loved to interview Sting at the pay-per-view, but that did not happen. Maybe at All Out. We'll see. I got to go and see if I can get some more AEW interviews. So I gotta hopefully behave good and get some interviews there. And our rig says, love Penta in this match. That they were great. Yeah, I do definitely think so. Oh man, we definitely have more people saying that they thought AEW was meh today. Wow, I'm honestly a little bit surprised here. And this is a comment from Sticker Reds who says, Pac is one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. I'll always tune in for his matches. So I'll be real with you guys. Honest. and I'm sure this happens to a lot of people. If you're listening here, I think you guys can all think of a wrestler that you weren't necessarily a big fan of, but everybody was a fan of, but maybe you just weren't on the bandwagon yet. Pac was one of those guys for me. I don't know why. I was never really like a big fan of Pac. And then recently, I don't know, I think like Cupid like shot an arrow at me and was like, you are a fan of Pac now. And recently I've been just really feeling what Pac has been doing. And I don't know, it's weird that I'm super late to this party, but it just happened that way. But I really have been, really have been a fan of his. We have a comment from Kareen Hassan who says, did you notice them mock Braun with the outside the ring run? I didn't catch that. Oh man, was it super obvious? How did I miss? I mean, I obviously didn't glitch in my mind, but okay, I don't know if anybody else really got this, but I didn't. Now I feel like kind of a loser that I did not really realize that at all. Okay. Alrighty, so here we go, everyone. Okay, a couple people didn't see it either. All right, so I guess I'm not the only person. So within the first 30 minutes of Dynamite, not only did we have this awesome tag team match, but then we had a big announcement. So for those of you who are ready to talk about the big announcement, here it is. We have Tony Schiavone essentially bring out Mark Henry, and I'm honestly thinking, all right, this is just going to be a Mark Henry talking about being happy to be in AEW. I really wasn't expecting anything else other than that. So he comes out. He says he loves the business, that he's not here to fix it because AEW doesn't need to be fixed, that they aren't broken, that they're just planning on turning the screws, and says when Tony asked him if he's essentially going to be wrestling again, he says that he's not really sure, but that he does have a lot left in the tank. And that's kind of what we got from there. But then we start hearing a voice kind of going like, hey, and then all of a sudden we get the very familiar excuse me from Vicky, and Vicky just comes out, and I forget how good she is at getting underneath your skin and just making you go, oh God, here's Vicky. Oh, I love her so much. So she comes out and she is screaming, excuse me, right? Being herself. And then she announces Andrade. And I'm thinking for a minute, oh, shoot. But then it kind of felt like an eternity. No music hit, nothing. It kind of felt like an eternity. And I'm thinking, did I hear that right? Did she say Andrade? But there's nothing. Nothing happens. There's like this long pause. And then I'm thinking, is she playing a joke on us? Is this a joke? Is he not going to come out? What's happening here? And I'm getting ready to tweet that Andrade is in AEW, but I'm holding off on pressing publish because for a minute, I think she's just toying with our emotions, and I didn't think he was coming out. It felt like the longest pause ever. But then, lo and behold, Andrade walks out, and he is looking like a star, man. A star. S-T-A-R, star. And he's wearing this green suit, screaming money. Oh, you gotta be bold to wear green, my friend. So he comes out in this green suit, and he basically says that he used to say that he was the face of the Latinos, but that now he will be the face of all elite wrestling. So we have so much to get into here. First and foremost, what do you guys think about Andrade being all elite, because they did go ahead and give him his all elite banner on social media? That's up there now. And what do you guys think about the pairing with Vicky Guerrero? I mean, honestly, it was not something that I had envisioned, not something that I had predicted, but I think it's bloody awesome. I think just given the fact that how annoying Vicky can be, it's going to work so wonderfully. So let's see what you guys are thinking here. This one here is from, let's see. We have some people thinking that Vicky might be a placeholder. I hope not, because I think she does a good job at her role, she does a really good job, and I do think that it would be a nice pair up. I don't know how many people feel about this, but I personally like it. Our Rig says, love how Excalibur hyped that Andrade is also known as La Sombra, completely ignoring WWE. Chris S says, I stopped watching WWE during Andrade's time. I wonder if more did this so he doesn't pop for me like other people. I hear he is good, so I hope he brings eyes to AEW. Unfortunately, when, I really do think that it did hurt the fact that this was the start of the pandemic when they were really giving a focus on Andrade and Zelina and Angel Garza, when they were some of the key players that you were seeing constantly on Raw when Paul Heyman was running things. It was during like the start of the pandemic. So I think that also did affect how people felt about Andrade. So I don't know if maybe that happened, but I have heard some people kind of say that. And this one's from Haj Gulashi, who says, I can't wait to see him go. He's a special talent for sure. Oh, yeah. 100%. Kasham says, no music made this kind of lame. I don't know why they didn't have music. I mean, maybe they just didn't have the time. They ran out of time, couldn't find the perfect song. I don't know. But I do think that the no music kind of hurt it a little bit because, like I said, there was this massive pause there that it kind of made you think that it was a lie or something. Jack Henry says, Andrade is the only guy I believe when he says he's going to be the face of AEW. Terrible debut, though. Oh, interesting. So his debut reminded me more of Miro's because Miedo was somebody that obviously there were speculations that he might go to AEW, right? During that time, there were speculations as there were speculations for Andrade. So the speculations were there, but nobody was expecting him to just pop up on Dynamite, and he popped up and bam, there he was. And I kind of felt the exact same way about Andrade where he popped up and there he is. Brandon Rosen says Andrade looked like $1 billion. 100% yes. Pomi Wrestling says, is this a post-pay-per-view tradition we didn't notice? ? Wardlow, Jake Roberts, Lance Archer, FTR, Miro, Jade Cargill, The Pinnacle, and now Andrade have all made their debut after a pay-per-view. TK loves them surprises. And Michael says, I feel like the reason why AEW didn't give Andrade an entrance was to show the audience that he is a big star and the crowd was the music. I hope there is a storyline between Omega and Andrade. See, if they would have gone about it that way, I do think that they would have that they should have maybe rushed it a little bit because I had way too much time to think that possibly it was not something that was actually going to happen. And John Clare says, everyone was so loud booing Vicky, they didn't hear her clearly. Yeah, because it kind of seems like I feel like I need to rewatch the crowd reaction because I don't think the crowd reaction in the beginning was maybe the bigger pop that we might have expected. But then again, it was probably because, I'm watching this and I'm having my own thoughts in my own head. So, we have a lot of people here saying Sticker Red says worse debut than Shockmaster. Definitely not. Jordan Patu says, love Vicky, but would like to see her take a slightly more serious route with her management of Andrade. So kind of maybe not like the screaming type of thing, but that's kind of what works for her, though. That's kind of what she's best at. Wrestle War says, I think music was supposed to play, but something happened. Maybe because there was that pause. So what if he was waiting for music? We don't know that. But it does seem like people were booing quite loudly, according to some of these comments on here. And let's see some more comments. This one's from Joseph. It says, I like Vicky, don't get me wrong. First impressions are random AF. I think this is why Thea Trinidad was quickly resigned to WWE. She would have killed it there. Who knows, man? I still don't know what is going on with Zelina or any of that. I really have no idea because you guys all heard Alistair's Twitch stream, and he had some things to say about that too. So Injection 2K points out that Mark Henry didn't get any music either. Sam 3 says worse debut than Christian. Man, I feel like I watched something totally different. I like the debut. I mean, yeah, they could have done it better with music and music. Music really is what I think they could have added. But I thought his promo was quick and straight to the point, and I thought he looked great. And I'm interested to see what they're doing here with him and Vicky Guerrero, and with him and where they're going to place him on the roster, all of that. So I am interested in definitely all of that. And okay, guys, let's see. This one is from Oni, who says debut was fine. The crowd loved him. we hate Vickies. All right, guys. So it seems like we have some pretty interesting comments. Killer Cole says, Jim Ross saying Andre instead of Andrade made me die of laughter. Did he say Andre? Or Andre? What did he say? I heard him mess up Idolo, where I don't know what he said, but he definitely did not say El Idolo. He said something else. I don't even know what he said, but I was hearing him botch that, but I didn't hear him actually botch the first name. So I do not know how I felt. I do not know about that. And this one's from the Cooge 97, who says, I prefer Selena De La Renta over Thea Trinidad personally to manage Andrade. I'm surprised. I was also expecting Selena. I think she was somebody that I thought she was one of my predictions actually for Jade Cargill. When we talked about who was going to be Jade Cargill's manager, I for a second maybe even thought it would be Selena De La Renta. I thought maybe they could do something different. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. Okay, Jordan says that he said Andre Di Yodel Yehi. Okay, obviously you're joking. I fell for your joke here for a second. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on here. So there you guys go. Whether you're watching the replay of this, let me know if you guys feel the exact same way. Do you agree with me? Do you love the debut of Andrade, or do you agree with more so of the viewers here that are basically saying that it was not that great? So send in your thoughts, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. And someone wants to know if Andrade is a face or a heel. I think right now, to me, I think he's a heel. I would say a heel, but we don't know yet, I guess. All right, here we go, guys. So after this, I kind of really don't want to talk about this match, but just really quickly, Cody and Lee Johnson versus QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo. This was really a nothing match, in my opinion. This was not good. So Ogogo ends up hitting Cody in the face with the right hand on his jaw, takes him out. QT is able to get the win, and I just think this would have been way more impactful had they actually done this on the actual Double or Nothing show. But just to do it here tonight, I kind of just didn't care, guys. I really did not care, and I don't want to bury the Ogogo Cody Rhodes match anymore. I already did that during that stream. I'm not going to go down that road again, but seriously though, it carried through into the following show for me. It really did carry through. So it kind of seems to me like nobody here is all that sad that I'm not touching this match, really. All right, Inner Circle celebration, everyone. So the fans, they got free shirts, and I was super jealous about this. They all basically talk on the mic, have different moments, different things to say. Sammy talks about doing the 630 in his mom's backyard, and then basically going from doing it there to doing it at the main event of Double or Nothing. Says that he's riding on a high right now. Then Santana basically says that the feud between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle is far from over because they tried to end them. They tried to destroy their careers, and they essentially cannot forgive this. Hager then adds that that the Pinnacle cannot say when it's over, that they will say when it's over. He then challenges Wardlow to an MMA fight in a cage match in 2 weeks' time. So I kind of felt bad, but when Jake Hager announced the match, I didn't really make out what he was saying. So it took me a second. I was like, what did he say? What I didn't understand what he was talking about for a second. But after a couple minutes, I was like, oh, okay, this is what he said here. So I did kind of feel a little bad about that. But anyways, Jericho then goes off and he says he's never been the same since MJF hit him, threw him off of the cage. Basically says that he thinks about it every day, and this is something that runs through his head all the time, and he feels he needs to settle the score with MJF. So he says he will beat MJF. He cannot forgive him for what happened at Blood and Guts. So for the most part, I like this. I thought this was a clear direction of what we could expect moving forward with the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. They basically told us everything here during this celebration. So I enjoyed this. And let's see what we got here. This one is from Wolf Gamer Vlad, who says, Hager versus Wardlow in an MMA match is interesting. It'll be worked, obviously, but probably best use of Hager. I think so, too. I think that I'm interested, at least, to say the least, in this. I am interested in how this is actually going to work out. But I am a bigger fan of Wardlow than I am of Jake Hager. And I wasn't the biggest Wardlow fan either. A lot of people knew this, but when I first started, I wasn't a Wardlow fan. I don't know why. But now I'm like the biggest Wardlow fan. I don't know why that happens, guys. We have a super chat from Brandon Rosen who says, I like how each member of the inner circle are singling out Pinnacle members and planting seeds for singles matches rather than the 5-on-5. Oh, yeah. And they had to do that already, because where do you go from you do this blood and guts match and then you do Stadium Stampede? Where do you go from there with the 5-on-5? You got to start getting a little bit more personal here. And obviously, like when they were doing the Stadium Stampede, that was one of the things that we did see where there wasn't a lot of sequences really where it was multiple guys attacking one another. I mean, except for the bar scene with, Santana and Ortiz. Except for that, it was really like one-on-one stuff. You had Sammy and Sean Spears, obviously Jericho and MJF, and Jake Hager and Wardlow. So that should have been really our first sign in regards to that. We have a super chat. Thank you so much to Heidi Ho 77. Didn't send in a message, but I really do appreciate you sending a super chat. Thank you so much. I really, really thank you for that. And let's see what else we got here, guys. And I'm just trying to get some more comments. This one is from Jordan, who says, can't help but feel like AEW are setting themselves up to fail by labeling Wardlow versus Hager as an MMA fight. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to go. I'm not crazy about it. I have an open mind, and I'm not going to go into it with like prejudgment. Like, I'm not going to judge it before I actually see it. But part of me does kind of feel like it's not, they're not setting themselves up for something great there, but we'll see, especially nowadays when like everybody's going to critique it and all of that. So I do agree with that. We have another super chat. Thank you so much to AK Germany 96. It says, tonight's Dynamite felt very WWE, with most angles continuing, probably a side effect feuds relying on stables. Britt versus another heel is also so weird. Wow, I'm in shock. I can't believe, like, I usually feel like I'm a good judge, of how I feel about a show. Like, I'll come on here and be like, the show wasn't great, or the show was fantastic. Whatever the case may be, I feel like this is the first time where I'm sort of off in sense of I enjoyed today's show, but it kind of seems like a lot of people felt that today's show was very off. But I'm glad, maybe, I don't know, because I didn't really enjoy SmackDown. So I think for me, and for the people that sat there for all 4 hours of watching SmackDown and watching AEW, maybe because it was so different from SmackDown, I thought that it was great. Gave me something to do. I was actually, looking forward to what was happening on the show as, the show progressed. So I don't know if maybe that affected my judgment. I have no idea, but I thought today's show was perfectly fine. But thank you so much to AK Germany 96 for sending in your thoughts. I really, really appreciate it here. Wrestle Wars has a predictions basically saying that it's going to be Bloodsport in a cage. All right, let's see. I'm going to try to see what we have here. Okay, this is a comment from Kareem who says, he says, in regards to people talking about whether or not a show is good, it's because people are spoiled. So they're used to a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Then when a 7 out of 10 comes around, they're like, what? Yeah, and you're talking to someone that sits through Raw, sits through NXT, AEW, SmackDown. So I know what a show that is not good looks like. And I've sat through the shows and talked about shows that are not necessarily all of that fantastic. And alrighty, guys, so we're going to go ahead and move on. So, okay, this is the comment from Nelson, and then I will move on. Nelson says, Dynamite was head and shoulders better than SmackDown. Not a high bar to clear. I like how he said head and shoulders. Isn't that a shampoo? Head and Shoulders. But you know what? Head and Shoulders is not sponsoring me, so we're not even going to give them any shout outs. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on from this here. As we just hit the 1 hour mark, and we still got a couple more things to talk about on Dynamite. All right, let's see. What do I want to talk about next? All right, Okay, really quickly, Cage and Jungle Boy versus Private Party. I thought that this was a nice, steady start to the match. People love Jungle Boy. I love Jungle Boy. I can't imagine somebody not loving Jungle Boy. And I kind of did, I don't know how many of you guys noticed this, but it kind of looked like Jungle Boy had an extra pep in his step after his big night at Double or Nothing. He looked pretty good in this. And Jungle Boy ended up getting the win for his team during the end of this match. So that was kind of really it there. We do have a super chat from Scott Moss. Thank you so much to Scott, who says, "Happy Friday. Do you think AEW will get into streaming soon? Question mark. Just think the pay-per-views are too expensive. Also, will Braun go to AEW soon? Thank you." The pay-per-views are expensive, and the reason why, because obviously we're used to paying such a smaller price. I don't remember it's been years since I, had to buy WWE pay-per-views for $50 something back in the day, every single month, I may add. Sometimes it was even twice a month. So I feel like nowadays with companies throwing so much money at companies to get them on their streaming sites, I won't be surprised if it happens down the line, but I don't know. I really don't know. But thank you so much to Scott Moss for sending in this awesome super chat, though. I really, really appreciate this. All righty, so here we go. And yeah, Paul J says back in the day they were $40, $50. Guys, everything's so expensive. It is so expensive. So expensive. All right, we have a quick segment with Darby and Sting. They come out. Sting is telling the fans that he is, thankful for them. Obviously, he had a fantastic night at Double or Nothing. And the fans chant, "You still got it." Then Sky and Paige pop up on the screen. There was this line from Ethan Page where he calls Darby Allin a spineless, codependent bitch. And Darby literally looks like he's about to respond to that. And he kind of looks like he's going to say something on the microphone, but then he doesn't because they cut to promoting the upcoming Britt Baker celebration. So Darby didn't get to say anything, and that's sort of unlike Darby's character. So I am curious as to how they're going to follow up with this next week. And okay, here we go. So after this, we had the Britt Baker celebration. Obviously, she also had a big night at Double or Nothing. New AEW Women's Champion. And she comes out and everybody's, a lot of people are there in the ring. She's got this table with burgers, and Rebel comes out with her. She starts telling everybody, "Hey, there's coupons for you guys because I'm La Champion." And she says, "There's coupons for you guys to get burgers, and look under your seats. They're there." And I'm thinking to myself, dang, this crowd is getting t-shirts and burgers. I went to the wrong show. But then it turns out that she's just joking, that she has all the coupons, and that's really because she is the one who did all the work, not the fans, but her. She is the one who did all of the work. I thought that was great. Britt Baker completely fooled me. I started thinking I was really upset that I didn't go to that show and get myself some burgers and a free t-shirt. So during this entire time, as Britt Baker is talking, I'm looking at Nyla Rose. I can see Nyla Rose, and she's kind of just she is not looking like she's enjoying herself whatsoever. But even though she had that face the entire time, I wasn't expecting the attack from her. So Nyla Rose gets pissed. She throws a tantrum. She throws all the burgers in the air, ruins the party for everybody, I think she even messes with the balloons and eventually leaves the ring. So she was not having it. This was fine, I guess. Fine. She threw the burgers. That was kind of really it there. This one is from Nelson Galan, who says that Nyla Rose did a great job at selling her annoyance. Oh, yeah, for sure. I kept looking at her. Her face was fun to look at because she was super pissed about it. Sticker Red says she said Lee instead of La. That's heel Spanish. Or Le instead of La. Paw Jr. 77 said Britt was trolling the fans hard. Oh, she really did. Because I think a lot of people really believed it, especially because they did the setup earlier where the fans got the t-shirts and then she comes out and says, "Oh, there's the burger thing." So I do think that a lot of fans really fell for that. I fell for it. This is a comment from Riff55 who says, why is AEW continuing all these feuds that should have been finished at Double or Nothing? I genuinely don't understand. All these guys should be moving on to new feuds. Yeah, and that's something that they are usually pretty good at, because I remember after AEW Revolution, the next night, it was like, we just saw a bunch of new stuff. So I do, We have a super chat from Brandon who says, you can see Nyla's interruption coming from a mile away, so who's face and heel in this? Well, even though the fans love Britt Baker, right? But she's a heel. But they love Britt Baker. So that's a little complicated there. She's still a heel, though, and I think she should stay a heel because it's working. Nyla's a heel, too. I mean, I don't see her as a babyface whatsoever. So she's a heel, too. So there you go. 2 heels. Unless... Okay, I was going to say a joke, but it just kind of went, I'm going to drop my joke. I was going to say, because unless you're going to go with the whole burger fan, not a burger fan, that could kind of decide whether or not somebody was a heel. You don't like burgers? Well, I don't like you. You like burgers? I like you. So there you go. Haj Galashi says, Nyla's great. Will be a solid first feud for Britt Baker. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't mind that whatsoever. Our Riggs points out that loves seeing Nyla popping the balloons. Jordan Patu says Tony Khan talked about post Double or Nothing ushering in a new era. So seeing so many Double or Nothing feuds continuing today was a little confusing. I'm wondering if maybe they're doing the WWE thing where they sort of save things and they wait until what are they waiting for? What am I talking about? There's people already there. Never mind. There's no excuse. I'm moving on. I was about to say, maybe they're waiting. What am I talking about? People are there. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on, guys. Here we go. So after this, we had a quick match between Red Velvet and Bunny. Red Velvet gets her with several shots to the body, kicks, does a dive, stomps on her face. Blade gives Bunny the brass knuckles. I think she's going to use them and win the match. She isn't able to because Red Velvet gets her with a spinning heel kick and ends up winning this match. Good for Red Velvet. I am rooting for her. I think she can definitely, if she keeps racking them wins up, I think she could definitely be a challenger for Britt Baker, especially, there you go. She's a baby face. They could definitely do something with her. Alrighty. And, here we go. Thank you guys so much. This is true. Riff says waiting till they go back to Wednesdays. Thank you. I was like, I knew they have to be waiting for something. Obviously, the fact that the show's on Wednesdays, is on Fridays right now. And next week is also going to be on Friday. Oh, God. All right. I'm not sure if I prefer this schedule or not. It's just so weird to me to not be watching wrestling on Wednesday. It kind of throws off my entire week. Whenever AEW gets preempted, it really does mess with my internal clock. It'll be Thursday and I'm thinking, tomorrow's Wednesday. And it's like, no, girl, you are on the wrong day of the week. Killer Cole says next week, Friday, the Saturday, the week after. I think it's Friday. No, it's Friday up until the day, the 26th, that they're doing the Saturday show. So the 26th is going to be a Saturday show. So next week's going to be a Friday show. I think the week after that, the 18th, might be a Friday show as well. And then the 26th is a Saturday show. So that's what I gather. I always make sure the week before to make sure I'm good on all of that. Alrighty, let's go ahead and lastly, let's move on. So after this, let's just make a quick mention of Miedo, who does a promo backstage, thanks God for his power, and gives a shout out to his wife, says she's hot. Thumbs up. We're going to be seeing Miedo versus Evil Uno for the TNT title next week. Alrighty, guys, last segment of AEW Dynamite. We are getting through this. First and foremost, thank you so much to everybody who stayed up with me. I know Fridays are going to be a little bit of a mission covering both SmackDown and AEW, but it is kind of fun. All right, let's see. We had the oh my gosh, I'm falling apart. Bullrope match. Nick Comoroto versus Dustin Rhodes. So this match gets started right away. Back and forth, punches to one another. Nick Comoroto lifts Dustin Rhodes over his shoulders, tosses him into the ring, makes him look like a ragdoll. Dustin Rhodes is by means no small guy. So Dustin immediately uses the bull rope. My gosh, I can't say bull rope, guys. I cannot say bull rope. I keep wanting to say bowl, like bowling. All right, so Dustin uses the bull rope to hurt him in places that no man wants to ever be hurt in. Dustin really utilizes this bull rope throughout the entire match. They end up fighting to where all of the extras are at, and Fuego del Sol gets on Nick's back. Nick just tosses him like a rag doll. Nick, at some point, he gets busted open. I actually missed when he got busted open, but he gets busted open, and Nick slams Dustin onto the table, and eventually Dustin ends up getting the win here. This was not a great match, guys. I'll be real with you. I was not interested in this. It wasn't clicking. I know that, I did like whenever Nick Comoroto had like those power spots. I did like that. I did like whenever Dustin would find ways to utilize the bull rope. I thought that was pretty cool too, but it didn't feel special. There was nothing in this match that I kind of felt like, oh my God, I'm really into it. And given the fact that we've had so many good AEW main events, I didn't think that this one held a candle next to any of the other ones that we've been seeing. We have a super chat from Chris Ludak who says, if you had to pick one wrestler recently released from WWE this week to debut in AEW, who would you want it to be and who would you have them feud with first? So this is going to sound maybe a little surprising to you because I would actually have it be Lana. I actually think out of all the people that were released, the 6 names, I think the person that they should get is Lana because she has a lot of personality and they can utilize her in different ways. So I actually think it should be Lana. I think she would be the person to go to AEW. I don't think AEW really needs Braun Strowman, and that's just my honest opinion. So I know maybe people were expecting me to say Braun Strowman, but I just don't think that they need Braun Strowman. Aleister Black, I'm afraid that if they were to get Aleister Black, he would just essentially get lost in the shuffle of talent that they have. So I don't necessarily see them finding a spot for Aleister Black. So that too, Murphy, same thing, would get lost in the shuffle. So that's kind of how I feel about that. So it would definitely be Lana. So thank you so much to Chris for sending in this super chat. All righty, and let's get some thoughts here on how you guys felt about this main event. And okay, this one is from Russell War, who says it wasn't a strong main event, but they worked hard at least. They did work hard. This one's from Lenny, who says, someone said that Comoroto looked like Hercules Hernandez, and I can't unsee it now. This main event really outlines what's wrong with the whole Factory versus Nightmare Family thing. Cody's crew has been largely dominant throughout this thing. Oh, man, I don't even think I've had enough interest in this whatsoever. So that's how I feel about that. AK Germany says, I had high hopes for Factory versus Nightmare Family feud, but let's be honest, the only reason this is on Dynamite is that Cody is involved. Like, I liked when Cody attacked QT that one week when he came out during the tour bus and they had the whole brawling on top of the tour bus. I thought that was cool. But I mean, other than that, there hasn't really been anything from me that I've necessarily been crazy about with this. Jordan says, Comoroto and Ogogo have a ton of upside, but they have been done a disservice by being prematurely thrown into showcase bouts and beaten by the Rhodes brothers. And again, I'm not even going to talk about that Ogogo Cody match because I have said my piece. Kelly Rosa thinks that this was a horrible main event. I don't know if I would say horrible. I would just say just not interesting and a little bit dull. So that could probably classify as horrible. But I didn't think it was horrible. Horrible would mean that there was like a lot of like botches and stuff like that. So maybe that would be a little bit more in terms of like horrible. Alrighty, and we have a comment from Rodimas who says that Murphy and Black would be fantastic in AEW. I saw some people saying Aleister Black. I also saw some people saying there was somebody else that said Murphy as well. So I think people definitely have, different opinions on who they would want to see in AEW. But again, I think I would stick with my answer of Lana. I'm going to read a couple more comments here, and then I'm going to go ahead and chime off. But just a friendly reminder, guys, for those of you who do not know, unless AEW is preempted, I'm on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And from the looks of it, I will now be on both Twitch and YouTube. So that's going to be very exciting. Twitch and YouTube, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, covering NXT, Dynamite, and SmackDown. Unless AEW gets preempted, then I will be doing Tuesdays and Fridays. So just kind of keep an eye out if you guys want to know when my streams are. If you're on the YouTube feed, I schedule them in advance so you can see them scheduled so you guys know when I go live. Or you guys can also follow me on Twitter at _ Denise Salcedo. And I do go ahead and post the links and I promote the shows. And so you guys know when I'm going live because I will tweet about about it. But chances are, if there's a wrestling show, I'm going live someplace, somewhere. We have a super chat. This is the final super chat from Jake Neal. Thank you so much to Jake, who says, I think my biggest issue with the main event was it didn't have nearly enough time. And the pick and pick hurt the match a ton. Oh, yeah. I think this match started at, what was it? I think 8:40, whatever. There was like 16 minutes left on the show, okay? And they still had maybe 1-2 commercial breaks during that period. That's a lot. And for the 16 minutes, and I just don't think the story was there either. It kind of felt like this match was really just thrown together. So I think the story hurt it. I think the timing hurt it. The picture-in-picture definitely hurt it. Picture-in-picture hurts everybody. I hate picture-in-picture. Like, I'd rather just have them go to commercial and that's it. And that goes across the board for WWE, for AEW, for whoever the hell else does picture-in-picture. Get rid of it. So yeah, I do definitely agree with Jake. And also the fact I just didn't think the match itself clicked, like I mentioned earlier. Thank you so much to Jake, though, for sending in this awesome super chat. Alrighty, everyone, that is the show. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. Again, please do not forget to help me spread the word about my show. I hope to continue growing the show. I'm a very happy to be part of the F4W Wrestling Observer team. It's been so exciting. Everybody has been so kind to me, and it's just been really awesome to be part of the team and get to meet all of you guys. And even doing the Twitch and the YouTube shows now, I feel like I've made like a lot more friends. So yes, you guys are my friends. My only friends exist on the internet. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I will see you here on Tuesday, and then I will see you here on Friday. Again, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the Twitch channel, and I will see you all later. Follow me on Twitter and/or on Instagram @_Denise Salcedo. Have an awesome night, everybody. Goodbye. Take care.